What's going on, y'all? This your host Elijah here, coming at you with another video from the uberlifestyle.com, your one-stop shop for all things rideshare and delivery life. If you're a customer, passenger, or a driver. In this video, we're going to go into the value of Waze. We'll talk about navigation in general also, and we're also going to talk about what's the value of a restaurant, how to give it a value, because they have a value based on what they offer you. We're going to go over that closer towards the end of the video. Let's jump into it. Navigation. Before we talk about Waze, we do need to talk about the Uber navigation. Now, the way Uber pays, it's not like Ubereats where every second you go, you're generating money. Based on the route and the distance that the Uber navigation selects, that's what you're going to be paid for. So it's important to note that if you don't go that route, or you don't go a route similar to that, let's say your route is 5 miles away, you take a shortcut 3.8 miles. You'll just be paid for that 3.8 miles. So you need to take that in consideration. Now, most of the time, I still don't recommend you use the Uber navigation because it's just not the best one. It doesn't take traffic into consideration. There are times during the day where, forget that, you'd be better off using Waze because Uber will have you going on the highway when there's a crash, and Waze will navigate you around it. So, yeah, you might lose $1 or $2, but in the grand scheme of things, you'll be able to get 2 or 3 deliveries in that hour. I'm just telling you that so you can be aware of that, because sometimes Uber navigation will do something weird, like do a U-turn a mile away, but technically you will be paid for that. But it's just for your general information. I still recommend that you use Waze and maybe go back and forth if that's concerning to you, because the customer can see you on the customer app. They may think you're a little inadequate. It could affect your chances of getting a tip. I'll leave that to your discretion though. Now, moving on to Waze. Now, Waze is obviously a navigation app, and it allows you to, it's most known for driving around traffic, using streets and highways and back streets, and they'll find you the fastest route to get to your destination. But that's actually the least amount of value it has to you. The real value of Waze is the functions it has. Now, we covered hotspots, spots in last video, okay? So what you can do with your Waze is, once you have your hotspots set up, you know where your spots are, you know where your money spots are, you pull up your Waze app, and you can actually save all that data in there. So picture you're on a delivery. You drop your food off. Great. Now, you're in a residential area, you're in the middle of nowhere, you might still be in the city. What do? You sit there and just wait for a ping? I would for maybe a few minutes, but afterwards, so I'm gonna go ahead and move towards the hotspot. You might not even want to stay and wait for a ping based on if there's boost requests going on. More on that in another part. But you pull up your Waze app, look at where's the closest hotspot or money spot, then you just click a few buttons and your phone will start navigating you there. That is the real value of Waze. So picture that scenario over 4 hours. You could literally be mentally somewhere else and all you're doing is driving. That's what Waze gives you the ability to do. Now, so what we want to do is you want to pull up your Waze app. Then you want to type in whatever spot you want to save to a favorite, or you want to do a hotspot or a money spot, whatever. You want to click favorite, and it's gonna give you the option to name it. And this is key. You name it whatever it is to you. Is it a hotspot? Is it a money spot? Is it a spot? We covered what that stuff is in the last video, but you name it and you say what time it is at. Some places won't be hotspots in the evening, but they're hotspots during the breakfast hour, etc. We'll cover that more in the timing, but you put, is it popping on dinner time, breakfast time, lunchtime, etc. Put that in parentheses next to that hotspot. And once you do that, But before long, you're gonna have this whole conglomeration of hot spots, money spots, and spots that as soon as you drop off, you know where you're heading next. It's a beautiful thing. Now, what you want to do with this information, you want to by default start out with at least 4 hotspots in every direction of your city. So northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest, etc. Literally take your city, divide it up like a plus. You want to have a hotspot in each quadrant just to start out. And then you want to expand from there. But by doing that with the quadrant, no matter what part of the city you end up in, you'll have somewhere to go to. That's a starting point though. Don't get too comfortable with that. Make more hotspots and money spots. You're going to learn later in the course that maybe you don't want to head to a hotspot. You might want to head to a money spot. But more on that in the later part. That covers the Waze navigation app. Now, if you have any questions about Waze, leave them in the comments below. Okay? Now, we're going to move on to the restaurants themselves. Now, we already covered how you can tell what restaurant is you'll be heading to. And there's actually a little glitch. I didn't mention this in the last video, I should have, but there is a little glitch where you can see the address of where you're going. But you can't have your Uber app up. You need to have another app up like Waze or whatever. Then the ping is gonna pop up. You put your phone in sleep mode, then put, when I say sleep mode, like turn off and on button on. In a lot of cases, the address will be popping in front of you from Uber in the section if you want to accept or decline. So you probably get where I'm going. Even you don't have to even look at the map. You can just look at the address. You're gonna see it so many times. It's like, oh, I know that's such and such restaurant. But now that we know what restaurant is going there, that we're going to, we need to determine, okay, we want to go there. I mean, we're just gonna keep it real. Some restaurants don't have their shit together, and some restaurants like that. How do you determine that though? We're gonna get into that now. Now you want to give the restaurant a number rating based on 3 factors. Delivery time, how much you gonna be paid for that order? How far are you going? Wait time, how long are they taking to get the food to you? And parking. We're gonna cover the wait time. I mean, not the wait time. We're gonna cover the delivery time first. Now, based on what we learned about the customer app and everything in the last video, you know how to determine if this restaurant, the food is going a short distance or a long distance. I mean, we talked about the booking fee and the money guarantee, the time guarantee and all that stuff, so you already know about that. So you can determine that right off the cusp because you're gonna get familiar with what restaurants go, what distance, etc. And you can use that customer app to reconfirm or just learn more about it before you even take the order. A lot of times if I find myself in a new territory, the first thing I do is just pull up the customer app, see what's around. This is guaranteed under 25 minutes. This is under 30 minutes. This is 50 to 60 minutes, etc. Then you can give it a number value based on that. Also based on what you wanted at that time. Some of y'all want short trips. Some of y'all want long trips. Long trips pay more, but the shorter trips, if you get 2 or 3 of them back to back, that's up to you. And it also depends on the restaurants in your area. So rate that accordingly. Next thing is wait time. How long are you at this restaurant? Now, excuse me. There's an optimal wait time, and that's in no time. Uber prides itself on that time guarantee, and the food really should be ready when you get there. But you might have been around the corner, you get selected, it happens, so you might have to wait. I assigned a number based on this. How long am I there? Did I go in there and pick the food up right away? And does that happen most of the time? If that's the case, I give it a full 10. They're doing what they should be. Do I go in there and am I waiting 5 minutes? If I'm waiting 5 minutes, between no time and 5 minutes, I'll still give that a 10 because give them a little just to it, it's all right. But let's say you're waiting longer than 15 minutes. I would give it like a 7 or a 6. You're thinking, Elijah, why is 7 or a 6? Shouldn't it be like a 0? Because if you're waiting longer than 15 minutes, Uber will reimburse you for your wait time fee, for your wait time. So as you saw from the screen, you follow those instructions, Uber will track your phone and they'll be able to tell you at the restaurant for longer than 15 minutes. And in most areas, they'll give you a wait time reimbursement fee. Now, that's the worst case scenario, and this is the scenario where I will consider not coming back. If you're always waiting between 5 minutes and 15 minutes, that is like where it gets like a 2 or 3, because you're wasting time. You may not get another ping within that hour, but you're also not getting reimbursed for your wait time. You see why that's the most undesired scenario? If a restaurant does that too many times, I'm gonna give them a 2 or 3 in that category. And certain times of the day, I'm gonna evaluate should I go by there, because they can be costing me money, literally. You need to think about stuff like that. That's why you give them the number value in terms of wait time. Last but not least is the parking. Is the parking accommodating the delivery drivers, or is it crap? I mean, people say a lot about McDonald's, but one thing is they struck a deal with Uber, and in most places they have a designated parking spot for Ubereats. Dude, restaurants don't have to have a designated spot for Uber Eats drivers, but do they have like a to-go parking spot, or is it easy to find a parking spot? Or are you always waiting to find a parking spot for 10 minutes? If I can go in there, park, and go and pick the food up, I give it, a full 10 in the parking. But if I'm having to struggle to find a parking spot, or I have to park far away, it's not gonna get that high of a number. So when you combine these factors, is the delivery time or the delivery fee worth your time? Is it what you're looking for at that moment? Is it long, short, whatever? Is the wait time pretty in the restaurant's favor? Do you go in and pick up the food? And the parking, is the parking fast and sweet? So take this scenario. Let's say this restaurant has a habit of going far. I'm looking for far orders because they pay more. I go in there, I pick the food right up, and it wasn't hard to park. I would give that restaurant just a 10 all in all. So when the ping comes up, I'm like, oh yeah. But another restaurant, let's say I know it's going around the corner and I don't want that right now. And I'm waiting between 5 to 15 minutes. In some cases, if you wait longer than 15 minutes, you get reimbursed, but that still may not be worth it. It's still hurting how much you're making per hour. And I had to park half a mile to a mile away. Maybe that restaurant's like a 2 or a 3. And certain times of the day, I may not be willing to take a restaurant that's a 2 or a 3. So I'll just let that slide. This is how you really take value of what we talked about in the last part and really apply it. Because right here, you can already determine, is it worth your time? If it's not, move on, wait for the next request. And then a lot of times of the day, the next request will come right away. So you know not to waste your time with these lackluster restaurants, at least until they get their shit together. I mean, it is what it is. If they want that to change, they can always step their game up, reevaluate your numbers on a monthly basis, or whatever frequency you want to set. But that covers it for this video, where we covered how to value a restaurant and the benefit of the Waze navigation. We also covered the Uber navigation to some degree and why that's important. If you have any questions about what we covered, leave the comments below. And if you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe. Go to the uberlifestyle.com to get more information about Uber Eats, both on the customer and driver side. This is Elijah. Until the next time, peace out.